We're talking about dreams and career and success. You know, everybody has dreams, I suppose.
And I remember when I was a child, you know, when I was in elementary school, I want to be a table tennis player, a well-known table tennis player, because at that time,
the best one.
Yeah, one of the best, or champion maybe. You know? And in high school, that starts to change a little bit. So when you go to high school, then I remember at that time, I want to be somebody, you know, that can be useful, you know.
Different dreams during different period of time of life, though I'm still young at the moment. I think as many of the little girls, when I was very young, I think one of my dreams is to be a kindergarten teacher.
Hello there, welcome to CCTV Outlook English Talk Show. Today we'll talk about to work all the way and to work success. It's about our dreams, our careers, and our future. And maybe some people say, my future is not a dream. But if you don't have a dream, probably you won't have a future. And today we have two guests here to share with us their dreams and their stories. And please welcome Mr. Wang Huiyao and Miss Tian Wei. Welcome. Welcome. Hi, nice to meet you, please. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Well, Mr. Wang, you are the president of AEA International Business.
Yes, I am.
So it sounds like a foreign company.
It is a Canadian company that we've been established for a number of years. We have been active in China and also in Canada, but since China is getting more and more exciting and the market is getting bigger, and so I'm spending a lot of time in China here.
I guess Mr. Wang is one of those people who are always living on a suitcase, traveling back and forth from between Canada and China.
But Ms. Wang, do you live on suitcase?
For me, at the moment, I am still basically based in Beijing because I am doing a radio show.
You do a radio show?
I do a radio show with
you're a radio
China.
show host?
Yes, exactly. With China Radio International. And probably we're swimming in the same pool.
Yeah, we're working on the same business.
Right.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're talking about dreams and career and success. You know, everybody has dreams, I suppose. I remember when I was in high school, when I was in middle schools, my dream was to be a painter. I like horses very much. I paint horse on chemical classes, on physics classes. But
certainly artistic.
Today, I can't draw. The dream is just like a bubble. It's vanished and it's disappeared. So would you please share with us your dreams when you were kids, when you were in, say, high school or middle schools?
Yeah, I think that for dream, it's very important, because I remember a French writer once said, people cannot live without dream. So dream plays a very important part in people's life. And I remember when I was a child, you know, when I was in elementary school, I want to be a table tennis player, a well-known table tennis player, because at that time,
the best one.
Yeah, one of the best, or champion maybe, you know. And in high school, that starts to change a little bit. So when you go to high school, then I remember at that time, I want to be somebody, you know, that can be useful, you know, be a scholar or be some kind of people that can utilize the potential. And of course, also there's a variety of dreams happen now and then. I'm sure Ms. Tian shared the same dream.
Well, my dream changed all the time. I think
you have different dreams on
different dreams during different period of time of life, though I'm still young at the moment. I think as many of the little girls, when I was very young, I think one of my dreams is to be a kindergarten teacher, because I always feel like my kindergarten teacher, she's so beautiful and she's so elegant, because she can always sing and dance and teach us a lot of things, and that's my dream. And then, well, with my growing up, I think I have different dreams, and eventually my dream is to be a broadcaster. And it seems that at the moment I have my dream fulfilled.
Yeah.
But I guess there's still. Thank you very much.
I think, yeah, but talking a little bit more on dream, I think a dream is just a form of what do you want to be or want to realize. I think that's very important, particularly for young people, to have a dream. Or you can say to have an objective, have a goal to reach.
But dreams are not something enough. We have a dream, first of all, and to make this dream come true, we need something more important than the dream itself.
Absolutely.
I suppose just today's topic is to work all the way. I remember is Michael Jordan or somebody says that I can never stop working hard. Every day I have to improve. I have to push myself every day. So could this be something very important to make people's dream come true?
I agree with you. I think that, of course, Michael Jordan is a good example. You know, he really excelled in his potential. I believe that every human being has enormous potential. We probably only utilize about 20-30% of it. So if you're pushing harder, if you really explore harder, then you probably can get more out of it. So for me, I think that to have a dream is very important. Also to define how to achieve that dream.
So we achieved the dream, we can say that we are successful. We got the success. But today, I suppose different people have different definitions of success. Maybe have different feelings of success. I really wanted to know that your definition about success. So what do when you say success or successful, what do you mean by that?
Well, I don't know about other people, but of course there are many definitions about success. I think that for me, in my life, and success means to do what I would like to do, and of course to achieve what I would like to achieve, and of course most of all to be a useful person to this society, and also to get the most potential out of the person, out of myself, and well, to have control your own destiny. I think that's very important. The people has to control their own destiny and not to be at mercy of others. You know, not knowing what to do, not feeling what to do in his life or her life. I think if one can control his own destiny, and then I think he's achieved some degree of success.
I definitely agree with Mr. Wang on the control of achieving your own destiny, because only that can make you feel very relaxed in achieving your goals. I believe there are two important parts of being successful, at least in my case. Though I don't think I'm successful yet. I think one of the things is to contribute, and that is very important for me, to contribute to the society to the extent of what I can. And the other is to feel self-fulfillment and to feel happy. Because you can see a lot of people, they are supposed to be successful. They have millions of dollars back at home, or they have a very successful empire of business, but they themselves do not feel happy. So that's one of the other parts of successful that I would consider very important, to be happy and to feel self-fulfilled.
So you got a broader sense of the definition of success. I don't really have the feeling of that. I don't think I'm really successful. But 8 years ago, when I first got the chance to watch an American talk show, I got a dream. I want to be a talk show host someday.
Well, congratulations
today,
also, right?
Thanks to CCTV, give me the chance to do that. But today, I got what I want to do. Very interesting guests and very interesting audience. Thank you very much. But still, I don't really feel the success. What's the feeling of being successful?
Well, I think that because different people interpret success differently, and of course, if it's in North America, of course, you have good health, good freedom, and of course, good material and wealth, and but of course, I think maybe for Chinese, because we brought up in a way that you have to do something maybe useful for this country or to this society. I think while you can be successful of your own, but also you contribute to the society or to the well-being of the general public. So I think that success can be interpreted in many ways.
But we have different criteria, different definition of that. And when we achieve something that as we defined, we can feel the success. get the feeling of that. Maybe we push ourselves too hard. We never gotten a destination that, okay, here I am. Here is where I want to be. Maybe I got to this point, got this destination, I got maybe another destination for the whole life, maybe someday. There's no such a day that if one person or maybe people feel, okay, I'm successful. That's it. That's what I want. Got what I want. Got something new I want, but I haven't got it yet.
A feeling of reaching out and always climbing up, is that?
Well, I really feel that if you really boil it down, ask me what exactly success means to me, I would choose one word, means choice.
Choice.
Able to choose things and able to choose the lifestyle you want to live in. For example, I think that for a high school graduate, he's very limited of choices. Then if you go to the university, you got more recognition, and then you got a greater degree of success, probably. And then if you go to the postgraduate, if you got an MBA, and then you have a large body of knowledge that you can utilize. So then you go to the society, and then you test yourself in the market. If you are received by the companies, if you receive the well-known companies, by multinational companies, then you enjoy much more freedom. And then if you can set up your own company, if you can create a business, so that means another test of your ability to be success. And of course, out of that, if you can still want to go back to teaching or you want to do something else, so you have the way you work through bring you a lot of freedom.
I think Mr. Wang's opinion goes parallel with mine. I think being successful also means that you have choices and you can switch always. And that means you can always function very well in whatever area that you're working on. And that's quite successful. And that's kind of person that others will feel fascinated about. I know that Mr. Wang has been a student, an overseas Chinese student, has been a diplomat, and has been a businessman. And he probably, as he told me 5 minutes ago during our pre-communication, that he's going to be a university teacher part-time. I think that's quite successful. At least I feel fascinated about this, different kinds of life.
Mr. Wang have different choices.
Yes.
He can choose what he wants to do. He doesn't have to do what he was offered to do, or he was asked to do, or forced to do.
Right.
If a person, for example, I worked in several big multinational companies in North America, and reached the ranks to the senior management level. And also, of course, I was a diplomat representing the Canadian government in Hong Kong. That was at that time, it was a competition, and through which 200 people went for the competition of this post, which they are recruiting a senior post to be based in Hong Kong, which is a very hot spot. And so I went to the competition, and then several rounds of interviews with panels, and then it was finally I got through, and I was selected. It was quite impressive, because in Canada there were a lot of French Canadians, there was a lot of English Canadians, and they choose a Chinese Canadian.
Many young people, young graduates from college, I know a lot of them whose dream they have a common dream, actually. They just want to get out of this country, to go to some developed countries, to attend schools, to get degrees, and then to settle down there, to start a new life. Well, of course, do you think this kind of procedure of life is like a way to success?
If you ask my opinion, I would say that not necessarily that you have to go abroad to be a successful person. Of course, at my time, because there's not, I want to start MBA, I want to start management. And there's no MBA offered in this country, in China. That
was back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s. So I choose to go abroad. But I think that there's a variety of ways to be, trying to build up a successful career for yourself. That you can either choose to start within China, or you can gain some experience. And then also you can choose to travel or to study in a foreign country for a little while, and then 2 or 3 years, and then can come back. Because right now there's so many students come back. And I think that's the trend that if they combine the the market potential of China with their own development. There's more opportunities.
Because our audience members, they have their own stories and dreams and their own efforts to achieve their dreams, to establish themselves. So I'm supposed to go down there to interview some of them.
Okay.
You can have a break. If you have any questions, ask them. Okay. If they ask you some questions, answer them.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Wang and Ms. Tian. I'm an English department student of Beijing Institute of Tourism, and I have a bright dream of become a tour guide. It means folk ambassador, and to contribute and develop the a communication of culture and tourism between China and Canada. And I have read your book, your experience, and I learned many things from its book. And I hope I could learn you to contribute and develop the communication between Canada and China. And I'm wondering, what do you think the prospecting of communication of tourism between Canada and China? And the second question I want to ask you is, are you happy now? Are you satisfied with your present situation? Thank you.
Well, I address your second question first because I'm very happy. I think that the more things you do, the more you feel that more choice you have. So of course everybody tells me that now you have everything, but no, I don't think so. I think I still need to work hard. I still need to achieve further goals and to dig out more potential out of myself.
Yeah, that's important. We say push yourself always, every day. You can't be satisfied, okay, here I am, I'm successful, that's it. Then you fail. Somebody else will just kind of getting over you.
Yeah, the same question, I think it's good for you to really to connect foreign countries and China. You are in the College of Tourism. I think that's very good new economy. China is the biggest tourist market, one of the biggest, if not the biggest. And I think that there's enormous potential, and you will be the future leaders of this industry, and then you can really master the good English, and then trying to introduce China and trying to introduce Chinese also to the foreign country as well. So I think there's a big two-way street for the tourism, and this is going to be a big industry in the 21st century, I think.
Yeah. Any questions?
When I was a little girl, I had my dream that is to be a host in CCTV. At that time...
Please, come over here. Please, come over here, yeah.
Thank you. And that time, I wanted to be the host of a variety show. But after today's program, I think I'd like to be a host of Outlook.
Okay. Of Outlook?
Well, maybe
you want to kick me out, huh?
No.
You are the host of talk show. What am I going to do?
And I have a question. I was also wondering, a question is that, as just Mr. Wang mentioned in his talk, that we college students has many more choices than high school students. And should our college student go to the graduate school to get directed after we graduate, or first we find a job to gain some work experience and then go for further study? And I want the opinions from both of the guests. Thank you.
I think, actually, as they say, all the roads lead to Rome. I think it just depends on your certain cases, whether you want to work before you work for a period of time, before you get a job or something like that. For me, I used to be a volunteer for a women's group before I graduated, and then I also worked for some companies and for Xinhua news agencies before I took on the job in China Radio International. So actually, I got all of my interests spread around in front of me, and I see which part interests me the most. And finally, I chose to be a broadcaster, which is what I'm doing now. And until today, I'm still happy about my choice.
We can see how happy you are.
Yes, thank you very much. So it certainly shows on my face, and I hope you have a good choice of life as well. I always think that no matter which road you choose, if you work hard and if you have your dream, you will gonna fulfill it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe briefly comment on your question. I think that if you're really a science student, or if you study science, I would advise you maybe go directly from school to postgraduate to even doctorate studies. But if you want to do social science or maybe you want to do business-related subject, I would advise you to take a year or two off to gain some experience, because the academic world and the real world is very different. And so if you have the real world experience, then you know what you want to learn further. You want to study further. So I think it helps if you have some working experience.
But talking about education, I suppose today people pay a lot of attention to, say, the advanced technology, foreign language, things like computer, things like that. But probably we just kind of, like it or not, we neglect the traditional culture. We did not know much about our history. We didn't know much about even the ancient Chinese language. 知乎者也. Not many people know that, especially young people, people of my generation or younger. Do you think that for education, those kind of things, those part of the culture which we were born in, should be emphasized?
Yeah, maybe if I can address that. I think it's absolutely important to know both cultures. And for China now going to WTO and foreign companies are coming to China, the world is getting smaller, it's become a global village. And of course there's a lot of international culture comes along, but I think China itself is so unique. It's 1/5 of the world population. And so I think that if a person do not know Chinese culture, it will be very difficult to merge into this world, because the international culture is made of different countries' culture. So Chinese culture is a big part of it.
Talking about pursuing our dreams to establish ourselves in the world, I suppose, of course, trying hard, working all the way is very important. But of course, on the way to establish ourselves, on the way to being successful, we must have a lot of difficulties. And sometimes the difficulties is too big for us, which we can call it a failure. When we encounter a failure, well, that's something we can see, or maybe every day, maybe once in a while. What should we do to deal with failure? Mr. Wang, you have some experience of that, I suppose.
I think everyone has some degree of frustration or failures in one's life. And I mean, I have, for example, when I graduated from high school, I was sent to the countryside for a year. That time I was extremely depressed, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And I was a big failure. I can't do anything. I have to toil in the fields and face the earth and back to the sky. So I think but that was a good. So if you can turn that kind of frustration into something positive, you can always turn the bad thing into good thing. It's really a good thing to happen. And so at that time, the only source for me was my little pocket radio that I used to listen to English from other teaching programs from different countries. I think that really becomes my companion at that time, which carried me through those difficult times.
Actually, it's double sword. Of course, it makes us feel a little bit frustrated. Why can't I make it? But on the other hand, it can become a turning point. There's just a little story I would like to share with you. It's about my work. I mean, when I was the first time for me to be in front of a microphone, exactly some of the things that you are holding in hand. When I was in front of a microphone, I was so nervous. I'm supposed to do an afternoon newscast for my radio station, and I just can't get my hands, stable. I'm shaking all the time. And you can imagine my voice if my hands shake like that. And after that, and I think it's very important, to point this out, after that I went to my tutor. He is a very well-known American radio host and broadcaster. And he told me, feel relaxed, feel confident, as Mr. Wang mentioned. Feel confident and then feel relaxed. Just imagine there are a pair of little glasses on the top of the microphone, and that's your audience, and that's your friend. You just talk to one person. So from then on, I can always imagine my audience is just one little person with the glasses on. So after that, I feel very relaxed, and that becomes my turning point in delivering news or being a broadcaster. I can feel very relaxed, And at the same time, I hope my guests are also feel relaxed because they are being with a relaxed person.
As we say, trying to be successful, trying to establish ourselves, we have something very important to remember. Maybe first, as our topic goes, work all the way. That's first of all. You don't work, nothing's for you, waiting for you. And then we have, as Mr. Wang just said, self-confidence. And something maybe, what else, Mr. Wang, what else?
I think one thing probably is to work all the way is very important, but also we probably working hard is very important, but also work smart.
Work smart, remember that.
And because if you really found the wrong subject, if you're working on the wrong field, no matter how hard you work, you may still not get there. So you have to work hard and also work intelligently. And
work hard, work intelligently, work smart, and self-confidence, and persistence. And then...
And determination, too.
Determination. And then the world is waiting for you. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for coming. Thank you very much. And thank you others for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye. 谢谢. Thank you. 谢谢. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
She's what a woman wants.
谢谢. Before we start our career, we have to make our mind what we are going to do. We have to make a decision. Maybe the decision is right. Maybe the decision is wrong. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad.
A lot of people maybe are looking at other people and seeing what they're doing, and they say, wow, he looks excited, and maybe, you know, that might be what I should be doing. But it's really about fit. There are no good jobs, bad jobs. There are no good careers, bad careers. It's whether it's a good or bad fit for yourself.
Waiting is always the last thing you should do. Never wait and never quit. That's two things I have to tell you today. So never wait, never quit. But opportunity, of course, you know, sometimes the opportunity you see might be you think, oh, it's gone. Always some other opportunity out there. You just have to open your eyes and then keep looking.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and thank you for applause. I love that. And you know what, we're talking about careers today, and this is a very wonderful thing to do. Hello there, welcome to CCTV Outlook English Talk Show. Today we'll talk about making the good career decisions. You know, before we start our career, we have to make our mind what we are going to do. We have to make a decision. Maybe the decision is right. Maybe the decision is wrong. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. Who knows? Well, maybe my guests know. Please welcome Larry and Susan. Welcome. Hi, Susan. How are you? Nice to meet you. Hi, Larry. Nice to see you again. Larry, you're the president of an HR company. You're doing HR, human resources business.
Correct.
I suppose you know a lot about helping people, especially young people, to make the right, good decisions for their career.
Right.
I really want to know, before you started your own business, I suppose everybody, including you, I suppose, have to choose a direction, a career, a business. At that time, what did you do?
Well, actually, in my career, I've actually probably had three very distinct, different career paths. When I started as a young professional right out of university, I studied engineering, and I joined a toy company as a product designer. And this was a very famous international company, and it was a great job. I had great colleagues, and the job was a lot of fun. And the first 6 years of my professional life, I was performing this job. And then it came to a point, I was 27 years old, and what I thought was the thing that I wanted to do, perhaps for the rest of my life, I realized it wasn't. I was 27 years old, and I felt like I was 47, because, I would go to work every day, and I was finding it very difficult to be at work. I was more interested in the things I was doing outside of work than actually my job.
So your job was just something for a living?
I think I didn't think of it that way initially, but what I realized was I did not have passion in this job that I was doing every day. There was nothing wrong with the job. It just wasn't a right natural fit for me. Yeah.
So was that the point of time? I mean, was that the time that you began to think about changing your career?
It really was, and it wasn't so much a kind of like a mental thought process that was going through my head. It was really happening from my heart, meaning I just did not feel the motivation, I did not feel the desire or the passion, and then that made me think, well, maybe I'm doing the wrong profession, maybe I picked the wrong thing. I didn't know what it was that I should be doing, but at least I knew that what I was currently doing was probably not it, and it gave me the, I guess, idea to look for other things.
Well, Susan, today you are my guest, but being my guest is not a profession. What do you do?
I think being a guest is also a profession too. Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm Susan Pattis. I don't know whether you want to introduce my background or I need to say something about that?
Not yet. I want to hear that too.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Actually, all my career, almost from the first day I choose what I like to do, is based on passion and interest. So that's why I like to tell the audience, if you want to choose your career, first based on what you like to do, what you want to do. If it's not something you like to do, you won't really enjoy that.
So what are the things you like to do?
Yeah, so for me, actually, when I learn how to maybe dance, how to talk, how to give speeches, and then choose my majors in the university, all based on my interests.
So you're very good at languages. You look at kind of a physical language in dancing and verbal languages in talk shows.
That's right. It's because I choose to study psychology. So maybe anyone here is a psychologist?
I don't know. Maybe there are some among the audience. But today, I suppose some young people, especially young college graduates, maybe they are wondering about what they are going to do in their future, how to start their profession, their career, their business. How can we prepare ourselves for a good career, a good business? Of course, college study, first of all, that's the fundamental things. Some things we have to have. I mean, what are the other things?
Well, I think when a lot of young professionals start out and they're right after university, I think for many of us, our main objective is to achieve some success. We want to establish ourselves as professionals. And the other thing that happens quite naturally is that we're very affected by external factors. So we might hear about an industry that is very exciting, or what we say is hot. Or there might be an attraction to earn the highest salary, or to get a job title, or work for a prestigious company.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose, as you said, that we choose something interesting or passionate, but we have to make a living.
That's right.
We have to choose a job with a good salary. That's right. You call it external factors.
External factors, but I think I've met a lot of very successful executives and over the course of the years as a person who helps them find jobs. And what I find is what Susan and I have mentioned is they seem to have this energy, this passion, and it's because they really pay more attention to the internal factors. I think they believe that if they feel passionate about something, then they'll be very dedicated to it, hardworking at it, that they'll really have the drive and persistence to do it well, and therefore the success will take place.
But I think that sometimes, especially for young people, their interests are wandering, changing very fast. Maybe today, I want to study art. Wow, that's fabulous. I start to read and to do a lot of work. But after 1 year or 2 years, I get bored of that. I want to do something else which are maybe more interesting to me at that time, say computer or things like that. Maybe many young people are experiencing something like this.
Go ahead, yeah. I think that's good. If your interest is really changing, maybe that's a good sign. Because for me, I always tell people, if your interest really changed, stop what you're doing now, pursue another one. Because actually, just in nature, people like to pursue a new thing all the time. And then that's how you can create the energy and the passion. That's how you can do it better and you can be happier. I think for young people, like before you finally realize what I want to do, what's the dream, it might be many process and steps. Even for myself, I started with a psychologist, and then I learned MBA, like you do. And then I worked for several companies. Now finally I found my own consulting firm, which exactly what I have been dreaming of. But all the process really paved the ways and helped me build a foundation, and then how to make you really to be successful for what you do now.
I think one thing that I think it's very important to do is you really need to know yourself. We call it self-assessment. So as an example, when I was young and I was doing this job as a product engineer, a lot of my job was at the computer. It was by myself, and I spent a lot of time just in isolation. But actually, if I assess myself, who I really am, what I really enjoy, I realize I'm more of a people person. I like communicating with people. I like sharing ideas. I like being involved in situations. Helping facilitate a process to move along. So I realized that I was not going to be that happy sitting in front of a computer my whole life. After I just understand those basic things, then beyond that, I'm just trying to look for types of situations or opportunities that help develop that or help me express that. And then it's just like a road you travel to, you just have to keep walking down that road. I think you might not see the final destination, but if you just keep walking, eventually you'll go around the turn and hopefully see what it is that goal is. Yeah.
Now, this is, you call it self-assessment.
Self-assessment.
You have to assess yourself and to see what
your
you really want to
personality,
do.
your interests, what you really enjoy, what you're really interested in. Yeah.
These are all something in the internal factors. They belong to the category of internal factors.
I think so, yeah. I think it's all within us. It's like I said, knowing yourself, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose if you know somebody else, trying to understand somebody else, I think that's simpler than try to understand yourself.
Yeah. Or if you're trying to copy somebody else, maybe that's, a lot of people maybe are looking at other people and seeing what they're doing, and they say, wow, he looks excited, and maybe, that might be what I should be doing. But it's really about fit. There are no good jobs, bad jobs. There are no good careers, bad careers. It's whether it's a good or bad fit for yourself. Yeah.
But how can I know that this kind of particular job or career just fit for me? How can I assess myself? Sometimes, when I look into the mirror, I know this is me. But sometimes I cannot really look into myself. I think understanding myself sometimes is harder than understanding my friends, my parents. I don't know whether you agree with me.
I think I'll defer to the psychologist here. Yeah.
Yeah, I suggest like everyone, including ourselves, every morning if you get up, use 10 minutes. Just ask yourself at least 5 questions.
5 questions.
Yeah, first ask yourself, what I really want to be.
What I really want to be.
What I really want to be in my life. Who am I? That's number 2 question.
Who am I? Number 2.
And what I want to contribute to this world.
What do I want to contribute to this world?
To this world. And then first question is, what I can do in my life.
What I can do in my life.
In my life to make my life better. Can make my life better. And another number 5 is, who are the most important people in my life? If you every day ask yourself all these questions, you can get a little answers day by day, and then you realize, oh, I know who I am now. I know what I want. I know what I can do better to help others.
So we can frame ourselves by asking ourselves these questions.
Exactly. I think.
Excuse me for a second. Well, just in case I forgot. Who are you?
My name is Xu Yang. I am a son of my father and mother. I'm the husband of my wife, and I'm a member of the community, the employee of my company, and I'm sitting here as a member of the team and contributing to this party.
Well, this should be the answer of who am I?
Actually, this very diplomatic answer.
Diplomatic answer.
Yeah. Sometimes if you say, who am I, has to be totally to yourself. And I suggest you stand in front of the mirror in the bathroom. Close the door. No one really see you or hear you. And then talk to you loudly. Tell yourself, who am I? And then that answer could be totally different than in this studio.
Then you think it for a little while, and maybe step by step, little by little, we can have a clear picture of ourselves.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
And is that you expect the answer to all the questions different from day to day, or you expect the answer to the first question for all the 5 questions to be consistent throughout the year?
But actually, it doesn't matter. Only this process of therapy. Once you keep doing this, eventually you will be very mature within you, and then you will exactly to know what I want to do, what I am, and then what I like to do for others. So it's a process. So don't worry about every this answer different. If totally different, that's fine. Means you grow. Means you have different interests. So which is a good sign. That's why we talk about career decision. When you keep doing this to yourself, and eventually you realize what I'm doing now might not be what I really want to do, and then you can find the answer why I'm not happy, why I feel stressed, why I feel depressed. So gradually you get the answer by yourself by you doing this every single day. So everybody can help themselves, but you have to start today.
Yeah. Recently, and I've been particularly working with a lot of young professionals in China over the last 2 years, and I see a lot of them between the ages of, say, their mid to late 20s to mid 30s, and they're very successful in their career. They spent the first maybe 5 to 10 years really trying to achieve, to concentrate on seeking opportunities and taking advantage of opportunities. And you could say they're climbing that career ladder or that corporate ladder. And after about 10 years, they've been able to attain a lot of their initial objectives. They now have a higher quality of life or a standard of living, and they have been able to secure some prospects for them career-wise. But I do meet a lot of them now that you can sense there's a frustration, that they're unhappy where they are. They're halfway up this ladder, and for one period of time, they take the time to look around, and they realize 2 things. One is they have a hard time going further up the ladder. They're not even that interested. Maybe they're accountants that are just not excited being accountants anymore, or computer programmers that really want to get out and deal in a more people-oriented way. But so they're not that motivated any longer in their current profession, and even the next steps they're not that excited about. But even the more tragic scenario is that they stop to realize they could be on the wrong ladder, and they really want to be on that ladder. And that's why we're talking about self-assessment, like Susan's been saying. You need to do it continuously. It's something that should start early in your career, and the answers might change, but I think I've found that, if you always try to seek out situations and environments that are good to you, that you enjoy, that are rewarding to you, satisfying, that you have some contribution and ability to do well, then I think that's fundamentally a good process to pursue.
Well, I have a question about the latter things. We have an experience, like if we drive on the streets, we always find that the cars on the next lane are faster than the cars on your lane. They have easier traffic, and you have a harder traffic.
That's right.
And in Chinese, we have a saying, 这山望着那山高.
Yeah.
If you're on one mountain, you always see the other mountains are higher.
Yeah.
Do we try to readjust ourselves? Do we try to make a shift and change to make ourselves faster? Or do we just insist on the business we're doing? Because we know that we have sometimes we have hard times, and difficulties in the business. But that's something I'm determined to do, and maybe for the rest of my life. Or we have to change whenever we see something faster, better than the business we're doing today.
I think for myself, I think it's a little bit of both. I think if you spend too much time looking at what other people are doing and not enough time focusing on what you're doing or what you're able to do, then that can be not good for you. At the same time, if you're not flexible, if you don't have the ability to change, to seek out opportunities or take advantage of situations or recognize situations that are good for you, then if you don't have that ability, that could be bad for you as well. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Susan just said you are MBA trainees. Susan knows you better than I do. Of course, doing MBAs are for kind of a better career, better profession. And do you encounter something like your difficulties in making your career decisions?
Yeah, actually, sometimes it's not so easy to plan ahead. What happened with me is that I follow mainly, as Susan already said, also my feelings. Suddenly, I figure out that maybe I don't like anymore what I do, and then I look around. But sometimes there are some things which happen even without looking around. Suddenly, there are some opportunities popping up, and which trigger your mind, and then you get some new positive feelings, and you try to pursue this track. And that's actually how I landed in Beijing. And then suddenly there are some other possibilities, like this MBA program, which comes in addition. So there are some very good stimuli effects with that. And I think there is also a lot of non-planned career developments in the life.
The non-planned, it means you can't plan ahead perfectly.
Right. You might have, when you go out of college, you might have maybe an idea, and then it destroys itself by either you get bored with the job, as we already heard, or you get suddenly a very good opportunity you never thought about.
Yeah, opportunity, I suppose, is a very important thing in our success in the career. Sometimes we really want to do something, but probably at the moment you really want to do that, you don't have the opportunity to do that. How can we... Or we just quit it, and we just look for some other things to do, or we just try to calm down and work harder and prepare ourselves better and better, and waiting for some other further opportunities.
I think waiting is always the last thing you should do. Never wait and never quit. That's two things I have to tell you today. So never wait, never quit. But opportunity, of course, sometimes the opportunity you see might be you think, oh, it's gone. Always some other opportunity out there. You just have to open your eyes and then keep looking. Also, I just talked to this gentleman, I don't know what's your name. First, all the opportunity out there, actually best is you prepare at the same time and be flexible. Because never have the fixed goal and fixed plan. You need to adjust your goal and your plans. Not every day, but regularly. Once opportunity there, just go grab it right away. And then if your instinct tell you that's the right thing to do, go ahead, do it. If you think, oh, I haven't finished MBA, I have to get my degree, if you think that's the right decision, you can still finish. But if you think opportunity may never come back again, go ahead, follow your heart, follow the instinct. Because the best is the decision you make, you have to take the responsibilities. So once you think, I believe these are the things I want to do, I think go ahead, do it.
One thing I see, and we deal with a lot of MBA programs, is when you ask a lot of MBAs what do they want to do, a lot of them are really interested, say, in investment banking. But I'm not even sure if a lot of people really know what investment banking really is. And beyond just a career, but as a lifestyle, as something that you are going to dedicate your life to. So I think in terms of opportunities, one is I think you have to really understand what these things are that you are pursuing and getting into. Two, you have to be realistic as to what it would take to achieve that in terms of the dedication, the hard work, the qualifications, etc. Another thing I just wanted to mention was Susan and I, we talk often to each other about our businesses, and right now we run our own companies. I don't think when we were 10 years ago in our career, we exactly pinpointed this moment, this spot. But I think if we look back on our careers now, and we look at all these other things that we did, it was as if all those things were helped feed in to help us get to this moment. I guess what I mean is, because we followed our hearts and our instincts about things, all the decisions we made were ones that were helpful and helped build us to this moment where we feel that we're quite happy and have an opportunity to really take advantage of all these ideas, these thoughts, these feelings, and experiences we've accumulated.
Exactly.
I would like to ask one more question with that. You say that when you look back, you see that it all fits together.
Yes.
But when you look back and don't look if it fits together or not, you didn't really plan it like this. It was just, as you said, you maybe your internal instincts led you this path, but you didn't plan 7 years ago that you will open your company, right?
Right. Yeah. I think for me, I was an engineer. Okay, now I'm a recruiter. What does engineering have to do with recruitment? I think it's like what Susan said. I don't know if I would say I looked in a mirror every day, but I'm always trying to seek the truth and always trying to see, what is the value of this? Because it's everything you do can be used, and there are lessons and there are disciplines that you develop from it. Engineering degree, it's not people-oriented, but it helped me develop analytical skills, planning skills, understanding processes, and how to pursue something through a process, which in business, I mean, that's happening every day.
I believe that sometimes when we make up a mind to say, what's my career? Of course, we have to do something we want to do. I mean, not have to. We want to do something we are interested in, but sometimes we have something that we need to do, say, for a good salary for living. If we have a family, we have children to raise, we need that money. Although sometimes we have the opportunity to have a high-paying job, why not to do that? We have to do that for the life.
Right.
So maybe we want to do something we're interested in, and it's something we need to do, something we have to do, and sometimes we need opportunities. And I think, follow the steps of successful people maybe is not a very good choice, because they have their situations, they have their opportunities, they have their stories, their backgrounds. We have different situations. But the thing is that if we just assess ourselves, evaluate ourselves correctly, looking at the mirror, wow, do I look beautiful? Or things like that. Maybe we can have a better, easier way to go to make a good career decision. And thank you very much for coming. Thank you. And thank you for your advice. Thank you very much. And thank you for watching, and thank you for staying with us. Thank you for your time. And out there, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye. Oh, please. Thank you very much. Whoa. How do you feel for seeing me for the third time?
in San Zi Jing we say, 子不教，父之过, which means if the child is not cultivated or educated, it's the fault of the father.
I never wanted my parents to be my friends.
Right, so the children should respect the parents. Now, what about the parents respecting the children?
In America, children can call their parents by their names.
There wasn't much room for arguing with my parents. My father told me one day, I'll never forget, he says, I mentioned something to him, and he said, you can criticize me, but when you're in my shoes, you're going to make the same mistakes.
Blood is thicker than water. Yeah. Hello there, welcome to CCTV Outlook English Talk Show. Today we'll talk about the relation between parents and their children, especially when they grow up. But first of all, please welcome my co-host, Mr. Paul Hansen, and his friends. Welcome. Please. Mr. Paul Hansen, you are from America, teaching
right.
English in Beijing?
Beijing.
In
That's
Beijing.
right, yes.
And your friend?
This is my friend Zhang Li Hui. She is the Human Resources Director for a public relations firm, Hill & Knowlton, downtown, and is married to an American gentleman, and they have one child who's aged 9.
8.
8. 对不起.
We get old.
Want to get the facts
family
straight.
information.
Got to get it straight.
Not that old yet.
Not that old yet. That's it. And this is my friend Thomas McAleenan. He's from Scotland. He is also a foreign expert instructor at Beijing Foreign Studies University. And he is unmarried, so has a special perspective on this issue of parents and children.
Yeah. So talking about the relation between parents and children, I suppose we have different kinds of relations in different cultures. I haven't been abroad. I haven't been living in foreign cultures. So what I know is just the Chinese culture. What I know is just how my parents treated me when I was young and how our relationship is now with me. But I wonder, what about in the Scotland or in the United States? What kind of relation between parents and children when they were young, when their children are growing up, how parents treat the children? Is the question too general?
No, I don't think that's too general at all. I'm a bit older, and conditions have changed in the United States since I was young. When I was young, families were closer, and we visited my grandparents virtually every week. And now this is rarely done in the United States today. But how about Scotland, Thomas? What would you say goes on there?
Well, in my grandmother's generation, the bonds between the family were much closer. But it seems that since the Second World War, the state has taken so much of the role of looking after old people and looking after health care and education. So the ties are less. So if you want to go and see your grandparents, you can, but you don't have to. There's differences that in the past you were obliged, you had to, that kind of social sense. But now it's a kind of optional. Like children of my generation, I visit my grandparents if I want to, rather than because I have to. It's different.
So in China, we say the parents are the first teacher of the children. Do you have the same kind of idea?
Definitely.
We think that the parents are not only parents, they're teachers of their children. They have the responsibility of education. They have a strong responsibility of teaching the children how to behave, what is wrong, what is not right.
Well, as Thomas said, the state has taken a larger role and taken some of the things that were formerly done by families and put it